So what is the crack, everyone? Welcome back to another video. Oh, it is a bee. I want to start this video by asking, please give it a like, subscribe to the channel. I always leave that till last, and you know, the odds of you seeing it at the end of the video is rare as we're seeing it now. So if you're here, please subscribe if you haven't already. It helps them get recirculated, it helps them be seen by more people, grow the channel, grow the brand, blah blah blah. You know yourself.
Cleaner energy future naturally. What is the new year?
Pop up to us on the Roadcaster. We're going to play a game of Panic live.
So once again we are back up in Dublin. I'm currently sitting in the car in the sun eating a plate of spaghetti bolognese. Not one of my weirdest moments, but up there. Definitely up there. Before we sit down and go through the whole cut and the principles, whatnot, I just want to show you some merch we got in today. So this has MUNCH on the front of it in like calligraphy, little logo on the arm, and we got some just regular country MUNCH with the branding, t-shirts and jumpers. So I haven't got any merch in ages. I got like a t-shirt ages ago. So these are just a few ones I'm going to trial out, see how they fit, see how they wear. I'm liking this one already. It's just a nice, really plain black with MUNCH across the front. So it's like a rip-off of the Boohoo Man that have Man. I just did MUNCH, so it's kind of a play on of that. It's just something different, and I like that. So it has taken me about a week to sit down and record this segment of the video. It's just been, I suppose, a busy week. I have worked the last I've definitely worked the last 7 days in a row. I worked the weekend before that as well, and all week, so I've worked a lot of days in a row recently. You should know by the title of this video what it's going to be on. A summer cut. Now, I'm going to make a big disclaimer here before I even get into the meat and veg of this video. So a big disclaimer. I'm super sensitive about talking about a summer cut, because I suppose when I started, this is the kind of videos I would watch. Every summer I would really try and cut down and be lean, and I would go through like intensive dieting phases. I did it for my bodybuilding show. I'll put a picture here. I got to an extremely low level of body fat, which was quite unhealthy, and certainly something that I wouldn't do again to that extreme. Now granted, that was for a competition that is somewhat justified. You certainly couldn't justify that just to be a normal human being. But unfortunately, because I was so young, because I won't say misinformed, I just wasn't educated enough on the topic. I struggled a lot with disordered eating after that show, and even in the lead up, you know, I was so strict. I was super obsessive with my calories and my training. I was addicted to training. I was addicted to counting calories. I do have a very addictive personality. You can see that in how I live my life. You know, I'm very much all in if I do a sport or like jiu-jitsu, business, if it's whatever it is. Usually if I take my hand to something, I get, you know, consumed by it, and I give absolutely everything to it. And I really do try and practice if you're going to do something, you know, go all in and don't half-ass anything. So that approach to the bodybuilding meant that I became super obsessed with it, and I had disordered eating. You know, I had anxiety when going out with friends, eating food. I had anxiety when I wasn't meal prepping my meals because I didn't know the calories. And it was a very, very unhealthy relationship with food. So that is something that I do not want to portray in this video. I'm not advocating that. There is a time and a place for that. If you are a bodybuilder, if you are a physique athlete, then parts of that is necessary. And you know, there is an element of that. But for the average human being, for the average person, that is not the right method. It's not a healthy method. But what I can talk about and what I can give my 2 cents on is how to do a kind of healthy approach to a summer cut. So what I mean by that is just reducing your body fat down for summer, because hopefully the weather is nice, you're on the beach, you're out with friends, you want to look good. This time of the year is a very common time for people to start kind of enter a dieting phase. So it's kind of 4 pillars. So this, again, this is my opinion. You may disagree, you may agree, whatever it may be, this is my opinion. 4 pillars that I would always kind of emphasize. First is number 1, a time period. So you want to allocate some time. You want to have a deadline so you have something to work towards. If you're just willingly dieting week in, week, you will eventually just kind of phase out of it because there's no real end line. If you have a date, if you have a day in June where you know I'm going on holidays next week, I need to be at this certain point by this time, it will give you a little bit, it will give you a sense of accountability to it. You need a plan of action, so whether that's, you know, a tailored plan to you, whether it's just what you've done in the past, a plan of action is the only thing that's going to get you to where you need to go, where you need to be for that deadline. So whether that's a plan of action with your food, a plan of action in the gym, whatever it may be, put something in place so you can follow week on week. Number 3, a realistic outcome. So try and set a realistic standard and a realistic end version of what you expect. For example, I'm going to Kavos in Greece in 3 weeks. Now 3 weeks is not enough time to cut off a huge amount of body fat. I don't necessarily want to do that. I'm already in decent shape. I would go to Kavos now and I would have no problem walking around, which is more so confidence rather than, you know, how I look. I don't really care anymore. And it's easy to say it now. I think that just comes with time. I think as you mature, you just start to care less about what people think of you. So for the next 3 weeks, you know, I will be realistic. So I'm gonna just focus on my nutrition, make sure I'm eating well, make sure my calories are within the bracket that they need to be. My training is good. I'm doing a lot of jiu-jitsu, so I'm going to continue that, try and be as consistent as I can. And I'll just monitor my weight and I'll just judge by the mirror, really, is all I'm gonna do. If I had 6 months, I could put a much more realistic game plan in place. I could really start to dial down and month by month set realistic goals, and you've much longer period of time. And then probably the most important part is an after plan. So something that a lot of people don't think about is a plan for after they finish. Loads of people will do this mad cut and they'll finish on this day, but then the day after they're kind of lost. They don't know what to do. Like the whole cut, all their month's work is over. Often if you go on holidays, you might lose some of that shape, so you come home and you're kind of back to square one again. So it's super important to have a plan in place, know what you're going to do after your cut. So usually what you would do is you would slowly start to increase your calories again. For an example, say you're cutting down, you finish on 2,000 calories. So when your cut is over and you've gotten to your desired physique and weight, whatever it may be, then you might start to increase your calories again. So you might go to 2,100, 2,200 week in week. You might start to take cardio away. So you just try not to rebound and just to slowly get back to a healthier phase again after a heavy diet phase. So there are 4 pillars that are super important if you're planning on doing a summer cut. Try and nail them down, try and, you know, get a piece of paper, write them down, see where you stand with all of them, and then, you know, go accordingly based on them. So how are you going to do it? There is 3 things. You're going to monitor your calories. So you're going to want to make sure you're in a calorie deficit, meaning that your body is burning more calories than it's consuming. So the best way to do this is MyFitnessPal or a calorie counting app. Now I don't advocate using them every day. It is really handy to use it maybe for a week, see where you stand, understand your eating habits, and then base it off that. So you might do it for a week, you might realize you're eating way more than you thought, so then you can kind of pull in the reins, do another week, and then assess based on the mirror, based on the scales, whatever it may be. Golden rule will be about 200-300 calories below your maintenance. Training is a huge part. Training is outlet of exercise. Everyone is different in this outlet, so you know, my training right now in this moment of my life is Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I'm doing that 4 or 5 nights a week. I'm getting about 2 or 3 gym sessions in, so that is the main priority now. That is my training. So, you know, I'm not going to just ditch that and go to the gym and start doing bicep curls. That is my training. I make that work. So people will purely just be in the gym, and that's absolutely fine. Just have a plan in place, go to a PT or, you know, YouTube it, find a plan that works for you, a split that works for you throughout the week in the gym, and go with that. It could be yoga, it could be Pilates, it could be cycling, running, jogging, swimming. It could be absolutely anything. Exercise shouldn't be a format of burning calories. Exercise should be a kind of form of expression. It should be what you love to do. It should be your release for the day, your escapism for the day. But please don't look at exercise as a way of burning calories. see it as a way of doing something that you love to do on a daily or weekly basis. So your NEAT, your non-exercise activity thermogenesis. That literally just means the movement and the calories you burn throughout the day not doing exercise. So like stuff like walking around work, you know, moving around the house, all of these things that we don't consciously do to exercise, that's our NEAT. So if we can keep our NEAT high, that plays a huge part in, you know, helping keep your energy expenditure high throughout the day. So a good way of monitoring this is counting your steps. I did 8,498 steps. Now you should be aiming for 10,000 a day. I sit a lot, so unfortunately I often have to go out of my way to get some steps up. So throughout the week my steps might be down. They could sometimes be like 6, 7, 8,000. So then on the weekends I'll try and do a walk or a hike where I'll get 20 or 30,000 steps. So I'll bring my weekly average up. If you're climbing flights of stairs to go to work every day, or if you drive to work and you park at the far side of the car park, you're constantly building up your steps and you're constantly bringing your NEAT up, your non-exercise activity thermogenesis, which in return is going to burn calories, is going to help you increase your energy expenditure, and once your calories are in a deficit, you lose weight. It's the golden rule. Okay, so I'll just finish up with some tips. Eat more vegetables. I always say this, and you'll hear anyone in the fitness industry will harp on it. This is just eat more veg. And this is super important because vegetables are so full of fiber, of vitamins and minerals. You know, they're really, really good for you. They're good for your skin, your health, everything, your gut. But they're full of fiber, which will keep you fuller for longer as well. So the more veg you eat, the more fiber you will have, the more fuller you'll feel for less calories. Increase your water intake. Again, a massive thing that people don't do. If you can eat more veg and drink more water, I guarantee you will be in a better condition for summer. I guarantee it. We're made up of like 80% water. It is one of the most important things we can do is just try and be hydrated. A lot of us are dehydrated. A good way of checking this is just look at the color of your piss. If it's clear, you're in the clear. If not, then you're already dehydrated. Try and get, for males, 3 or 4 liters a day, especially if you're training. For females, 2 to 3 liters, maybe even more if you're training, if you're sweating excessively. Try and be patient, that is a massive one. You will not see results after 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Just be consistent, be disciplined. Have a photo, a before photo, so you can constantly go back and compare and see where you started, because you won't realize small details, but you might look at a photo and be like, oh, like my waist has reduced, or my arms look bigger, or whatever it may be. So you can have something to compare to. And the last one, and this is the most important one, it doesn't really matter. Like, yes, it's super important to be healthy, and that is the overlying message here, is to try and be a healthy human rather than a ripped, you know, in shape human. Oftentimes the people who are in incredible shape are not as healthy as the people, you know, who are in decent shape with a good diet, with a good lifestyle, with a good physical and mental health. It doesn't really matter. The only opinion that really matters is your opinion, and I found that myself. You know, I was so addicted to it. I was so infatuated by it. You know, every time I passed the mirror, I would have to look. I thought, you know, I suppose I did. Like, I thought that, you know, people would look at me different, and of course to an extent that's true, but they don't really care at the end of the day. It's your opinion. You know, I was doing it because I wanted to look better, and I consistently wanted to get lighter, get more ripped. But, you know, it gets to a stage where it's over excessive, and, you know, that's not desirable either. So, you know, having a healthy gut, having sufficient minerals and vitamins in your diet from veg or whatever it may be, drinking enough water. If you're a girl, having a healthy menstrual cycle, all of these things are much more important than looking good on a beach for 4 days on your holidays. If you have any questions, please leave them down below, or you can reach out to me and DM me. Please like the video, please subscribe. If there's any videos you'd like to see, please let me know. And other than that, I will see you in the next one. Thank you for watching as always. Ciao, ciao. Believe it, I have achieved it. It was a dream of mine. Make a new plan out of the box, taking one step at a time.